Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. Is there a thing called four-star performance? Something that's instead of calling something as five-star performance, a four-star performance is what Arsenal had against Everton. So that's what we are going to discuss today about the four-star performance against Everton and try and preview the game against Bournemouth. Do I know anything about football? Not really. So that's why I have Arun with me. Hi, Arun.
Oh, pressure right at the beginning. Hello.
Before we continue, as usual, please do like, comment, and and share and subscribe and all those things. We are also looking for we are also looking for people to bring on to the podcast and talk with us. So anyone who's interested, do reach out to us. And I know we are not very active in social media, but we are there. So you could reach out to us on our social media platforms. With that out of the way, around like four-star performance, it's not just a poor goal. It actually summarized for me how the game went, right? Like for the first 40 minutes we were like defending and we were not doing great. I mean, we were creating, we were doing something, but not exactly the things that we want to see on the pitch. And I was going, oh, another Newcastle. Or and then suddenly something clicked, and then there came like four glorious goals flooding in. What's your thoughts on the win to start with?
Oh,
Do
to
you,
start with
do,
the
do you
win.
do you accept the term four-star performance?
Oh, yeah, because a lot of movie websites, when they do, even Roger Ebert's site, for example, when they do critic a movie, it's always 4 stars. It's on 4 stars. So it's we were to rate on that scale. Yeah, it was definitely a 4 on 4 performance. Let's put it that way. But yeah, my first thoughts, like, fantastic win. It showed uh, a different side of the team, one that we thought was like the plan or the blueprint for other teams. We've been discussing about this, like the way in which you can stop Arsenal is doubling up on the wingers and, like, setting up a low mid block and having like physical players right in the middle, so like they can choke them out. And that's what Everton did pretty much. Like they are that kind of a team. And except for Calvert Lewin, the rest of the team that played was like, yeah, Cody wasn't there, Calvert Lewin wasn't there, but the rest of the 9 people were the same ones that we faced at Goodison Park. So it was a fantastic. It was very fantastic, really good to see like the team basically going out, realizing the challenge that lay ahead of it, learning from the previous game, and actually, like, making changes, in-game changes that sort of facilitated all of this. All that this game needed right at the beginning was one moment of brilliance to open things up, and that's what we got from Saka. And then right after that, the perseverance of these young players, and like, the industry of the people, the fluidity of the game that we had in the middle, that changed everything completely. And after that, it was just cruise control. I mean, some parts of the second half, I don't know how to say. I was happy, but I was bored at the same time because nothing was literally happening, and the ball was almost always with us. And all that you could hear was the cheers from the crowd every time we took a touch, because like we were dominating the game so much. It was very reminiscent of the last 20 minutes against United that we played, the second half.
I mean, okay.
I
Before
think I
we
spoke a lot. Yeah.
No, you're not. But the thing is, like, I need to reel back a little bit because you went to talk about the whole game
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we got about like that point. Um, so what I wanted to bring back is like starting lineup. There was not a big surprise in that we are continuing like Trossard and Martinelli up top,
Yeah. Yeah.
like kind
Yeah.
of that, and having Jorginho there. Like it was not a surprise, but it was still like I don't know if we should say that as a statement or is that something that Arteta is like no one's place is like fixed.
I don't know if we need to, like, make it threatening, or like, sort of like say like your spot is under fire. For me, it just went to show the improvements that we've made, the signings that we've made, and the way in which they've improved the team is sort of giving the manager the confidence that, like, he can actually go into a game against a physical team like Everton without Party. Like that's a huge thing. I remember even when it was in January, there were certain games. I think it was Newcastle. We did not bring a substitute in because the only attacking substitute that we had was Fabio Vieira.
Yeah.
And now we are turning around and we are getting like players and attacker after attacker. And this is what we were actually waiting for. So for me, rather than like showing it as a sort of like, oh, your spot is under fire, so you got to keep performing, like you can afford, not that we want the players to afford to have an easy game, but like it gives the manager the hope that if my team player is having a bad game, I do have a potential weapon that can come in and unlock or change things. And more than anything, when there is a quality drop in like an attacking level, whether we are chasing the game for a draw or for a win, when there is a drop indeed, then the opposition is really not working as hard as it should, especially at points when we're chasing. So that for me was the biggest positive from this game I found.
But to talk about the other side of it, which is like the defensive side of Arsenal, because I still, like, when I think of this game, and not just this game, there has been a lot of games where I think like Gabriel's like probably our second best player on the pitch. Like most of our games, I feel that he's turning up. In this game especially, because I remember there's one moment when a player like I thought, oh, it's clear, he's clearly in.
Oh yeah, the last ditch tackle.
And then he did this tackle and took the ball cleanly, and it was going like, oh, holy shit, that feeling. And then Ramsdale at the end making that double save. That's like now if someone is putting up goalkeeper of the month or save of the month and not including that, or like even I would go as far as saying like it's one of the best saves of the season so far, that double save.
I think his save is like nominated in the Save of the Month Premier League, like the one that he did against Aston Villa. I think that's been nominated. Yeah, that's interesting because like there has been a bit of criticism towards Ramsdale right from the beginning. The fact that he came from, I think a majority of our fan base who are still stuck up on their favorite players leaving are still not behind the manager and the current contingent. And those are the main people who always keep chirping about Ramsdale coming from Sheffield United. I don't know why that's a problem. Why like paying 25 million for a top class goalkeeper is a problem, but for them, like Ramsdale being there is a problem. And that criticism has continued, but you look at his records in 25 games, the number of goals that we've conceded is far fewer than anyone else. So, like we are second on terms of goals conceded, I believe. And he has 11 clean sheets. He is in running for Golden Glove. Like what more do you want from your keeper? Like his distribution is top notch. He turns up when he has to. Yes, he has that odd game in him where there's like a lapse of concentration, but like he's young. This is when like keepers start to get better. And as for Gabriel, man, I'm lost for words. I remember if just a few months back we were talking about his dip in form, and if getting a new left center back was the next step in the evolution of the team, which would actually be pushing him, like to the reserves or sort of thing. But the way in which he's turned up since the World Cup, since signing a new contract, one attribute that we've always praised about Gabriel is his physicality. Yeah. And he's taken that up like so many levels. The way in which he's able to command that position, except for that City game that the entire team sort of collapsed, I really cannot think of one game where he put a foot wrong. It's be it like doing his own things right, or being it covering for the drop in quality of say Saliba next to him that we've been witnessing since the World Cup, or like saving the goalkeeper, or like covering for like the left back whenever Zinchenko, who's playing basically a free role, roams around. He's been doing everything to perfection. Yeah. And his passing as well, his long range passing. So Gabriel has like I think proven all of us wrong this season.
Yeah, I mean, not all of us. I remember I always loved him. So
yeah, I remember you telling right at the beginning that like he brings that the chaos factor in, but then like at the same time the fact that like he's able to, in spite of all the chaos, he's able to like clear things out and make sure that side nothing happens from that side. It's amazing. We probably got like I would say one of the top 3 center backs in the league with us right now.
Absolutely. I think like we have top 5, 2 of the top 5 center backs in the league, and probably for me at least this league's best center back pairing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But the first goal, it came in late. It was a curious goal because I was this has stuck to my mind. I was listening to I think Ars blog long time back Arscast, and they were mentioning about like how it was Arsenal Vision. So they were mentioning about how you can close your eyes and hear the commentary and know where the players are. Right, like just hearing Zinchenko party, like you would know where your players are. That's how clear the playing pattern has been. First goal, even though like the goal was like literally Zinchenko was playing as a right midfielder up top, and then you see what's his name, Martinelli in the right wing position, and then the ball comes in and then it goes back to Saka. So it's like, but still, it is not something like previous Wenger years where like everyone can have that free roam, but you don't know who's going to pop up where.
Yeah. Plus, like you always had the fear of like, oh, we lose the ball, we're definitely going to get caught out on the counter.
Yeah, but in this situation, we feel like, oh, this we have seen. This is a pattern. This is not like a one-off situation where our players are like going rogue from the plan. That was interesting to see. I mean, I realized it very late about the first goal, and what a finish! What a player that kid is.
100%. Yeah, I was actually very surprised when the moment I saw Martinelli on the right, I was like, what's going on? Like, this is not how it's supposed to happen. And then all of a sudden I see like Zinchenko coming in from the left. He was coming more inward. And my first thought was, don't lose the ball. That's exactly what I was thinking. Don't lose the ball. Don't lose the ball. But then you're right. The first 40 minutes, if you noticed, we had a plan, but we kept trying the same things over and over again. There was not as much fluidity for the first half an hour because like we were, like you said, if you had closed your eyes, you knew exactly what was going on because that was a pattern of play that we had for the first 30, 35 minutes. We were trying few things, passing out the ball. We were again going from like side to side. We were trying to gain possession and position up on the pitch while we were like pushing them back slowly. But the problem was that they were super, super rigid and super like organized for those first 35 minutes.
I mean, what are you expecting from a Soundage team?
Definitely, but they came they came with a plan and they were executing it superbly for the first 35 minutes. Onana was super physical. He was getting in Gabby's face. That's another thing that I loved about Gabby. He stood up to Onana and like he showed him that like he's not going to buckle again. That's not going to happen again. So when we were playing at that point, whatever Zinchenko was trying, initially Zinchenko was actually like trying too many things. He did misplace a ball, like that was like very critical, and then like he settled in the game and the more we were trying to do things, the more they were blocking the passing lanes. If you notice at one point, we were like trying to get Trossard go out wide, Trossard coming in, Zinchenko like coming in. But the problem was that all the three lines were completely like blocked by their players. So we weren't able to get the ball. We would then again push it back to the right, come back out. So with Jorginho again, though we had like the control of midfield, it was not the same physical presence. But like once Zinchenko started taking control and he's decided that, that's why I said like this was, I felt a pattern of play that we've brought into the game that was very visible in this particular game that could be a great option for us going forward in terms of how we break down these low blocks.
Yep.
Like I said, we needed a moment of brilliance, and that moment of brilliance came from that combination play. Like Saka wasn't expected to be there, and Saka wasn't expected to turn and receive the ball the way he did, shoot with his right foot from that angle. That was not supposed to go in.
I mean, with Saka, anything is supposed to happen. Okay,
that's the thing, and that's
no questions about that kid. He is, for me, the best player that has come out of Arsenal Academy.
Right now, yes, definitely. He set the bar.
Not right now. I would say like he's on par with like Rocky. I would say he's on par with Rocastle. I would say he's on par with like who else was the player? Like I don't think I think he has surpassed Jack Wilshere. I think Fabregas is not from our academy.
Okay, yeah, Tony Adams was there from the academy.
Tony Adams, he is probably on par with like maybe Tony Adams. Of course, he's miles ahead of Saka. He needs to do a lot more, but the kid is like 21 years old, right? So
that's the thing. That's like his ceiling is unbelievable. Like it's more than his skills, it's his mentality. And that mentality is what like makes you push. You can have all the skill in the world that you want, but if you do not have the intelligence and the mentality, you're not going to progress as a player. And that's what is like differentiating him from kids in the same age group in England who were like considered to be way ahead of him, like even a season ago. Like the way in which he's taken, it's his ability. Like he decides what he wants to do with the game. There are certain players who control the tempo of the game wherever they are from. He is one of them. He decides what needs to be happening in the game. Yep. Like when we have a player like this, and good news is he's supposedly tied down to a long-term contract, like when things like this happen, it shows like it brings about a lot of positivity amongst the group of players, because the rest of the players value him a lot.
Oh
They
yeah.
know they know the
He
kind of difference that he can make in a game.
he is the Arsenal embodiment at this moment for me. Like,
Definitely, yes. There was like a video that just came out in the Athletic today, I think, about like why Saka embodies Arsenal. It was really good. Like, it just goes to show what this team is about, how they value each other, and how they see him as someone like who can make the difference. And he's being trusted upon at this age, not just by his manager, but his fellow mates and an entire fan base as well. Like if you see the goals that he scored, most of them that he scored he scored against all the big teams. He's assisted against all the big teams, and the goals that he scored are either like the ones that help you equalize or take the lead.
yep.
When it's clutch, like you need players like this who are clutch at the moment that you need them to. So hats off, man. This kid is fantastic.
So I have two more points to talk. I mean, actually, three more points to
So we
talk
need
about
to.
this
One
game.
of them definitely has to be about Martinelli.
Yes, the next one is about Martinelli. I mean, we have been talking about like, oh, he's a little jaded once he came back from World Cup. Maybe he is a little bit, but of late his form has been excellent, and that's what we expect from Martinelli. In front of goal, you give him the ball, you make him run into space. He's there. He's there. He's shooting. He's putting it, burying it. It's last game he scored. The game before he scored. He starts, he score. He comes off bench, he scores. So, like I was asking Deepak last game, is Martinelli back? And Deepak was saying like maybe not yet. Is Martinelli back now? Or
I would like to give him like yes, the returns are good, the goals are good, but like scoring goals has never been a problem for Martinelli. We've seen it. We've seen him score like fantastic goals earlier too, like the one that he scored against Chelsea, which announced like sort of his caliber and the progression that he's made. The Liverpool goal, everything that like even the disallowed goal against United, his goal scoring and his precision in front of goal has never been a question. The more important thing is his decision making. That's where he's been finding it tough. And like with the combination play between him and Eddie not working out, it has given him more work to do in terms of taking the right decision. One difference that I would say is if we see like Eddie's assist for the last goal that Martinelli scored, that's a natural instinct for Eddie to be able to send that ball in. That decision making is what like would separate Martinelli and Eddie at this point. Eddie still has a long way to go in terms of his own decision making in front of goal, but that's the decision making that I would want more from a wide player, an inside forward, than from a center forward. Like a center forward, your finishing is your primary skill. So this is where I would like for him to improve. Yes, there were lots of improvement here in this game, but that was also facilitated by the fact that Trossard was playing. There was no Eddie, and so with Trossard playing,
but in that scenario, like we were talking like a couple of weeks ago, like against Manchester United game and some other game, we're talking about how Eddie to Martinelli was not happening.
Yeah,
but this second goal that he scores is Eddie to Martinelli.
Eddie to Martinelli, exactly. Yeah, at that point, like I think at that point, the fourth goal, like it was really good, but I don't know if it would mean anything except for goal difference. I don't know if it mean anything because of the fact that Everton were done and dusted at that point.
But it's great for me to say it's 4-star
performance. Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah. No, but that's the thing. Like that combination play did work. But if you notice, that was an extension of how well Martinelli moved around that area, like throughout. If you see his heat map, like you said, it was the way in which he was hugging the right wing for Saka's goal. That's not something that you expect. Like especially given like Saka even wasn't moving too in center. Like he was still at like near the near post. That was like he was still had like a lot of way to go, and Trossard was like almost at the edge of the box on that side. So this interchange in movement sort of has given him a new confidence. I would like to see more of this, honestly. With Jesus coming back, I would like to see more of this intelligent play. To answer your question, yeah, he is coming back, but I would like to see him making more of an impact in the overall gameplay than just goals at this point.
One more thing, you actually touched upon it a little bit, like about the other player that we wanted to talk about is you touched about Jorginho, but I wanted to talk about Partey.
Oh my
God. The difference that guy makes. I mean, I have no complaints about Jorginho. Like he has filled in much better than what I thought he would. He has done a lot of good things and stuff. But the difference in quality, the difference in what Partey brings makes this team feel different.
Yes, definitely, yes. Because like I find like Jorginho is really good in terms of what he does. The control, like even when he was there, though we did not have the physicality, you would be surprised. Like I was very surprised. I thought Partey would start given like the physicality of the midfield. I was like really surprised to see Jorginho start. Again, goes to show the confidence that the manager has and like the tools that we have at our disposal. But the way he started, the way he controlled the tempo of the game, which was again very essential in a game like this, where like the opposition was not really going out to score goals, it sort of like wasn't aggressive.
Mhm.
It was neat. It was clean. It did the right things, basic things right. Definitely like way better than what a Lokonga or an Elneny would have done, and it gave
I
us more
mean,
control.
speaking of Lokonga is tearing up Crystal Palace fans.
Good for him. Good for him. I would even like have him go on another season of loan. I would definitely like, if he's able to do well, just the 6 months can convert into another 12 months. And then at that point, we can see what happened. But like this game, the aggression that we wanted in the second half, when you have a 2-0 lead, you don't want to give the opposition any chance to come back into the game. Everton did have a really good XG. They had like 1.9 or something. They could have definitely scored 2 goals. We did give them chances, but like the way in which we control that midfield with that aggression as soon as Partey came in, like the balls that Jorginho wouldn't have gone for, but then would have thought about like how to tackle when once the opposition gets the ball. In Partey's scenario, it became that you're not getting the ball, I'm getting the ball. I'm going to dictate the play. And the way in which those three combined in the middle, Zinchenko, Odegaard, and Partey, brilliant.
I mean,
Absolutely brilliant.
we have to mention Odegaard's tackle,
The tackle.
the ball and stuff. It was like he does all these things every game, right? Like he
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
just a flashy player, and it's so fun to watch.
Definitely, yes.
Last question about this game before we jump on to Bournemouth, because I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about Bournemouth. That's why I'm dragging it a little bit more. We have
We
started the
shouldn't let
season.
these secrets out, Ajay.
It's okay. Everyone who's listening knows what we are. There is no secret anymore. But we started the season as like, oh, it'll be good to finish in top four, and then we were like, oh, we are leading the pack, and then we were like around World Cup, we were talking about like, oh, maybe it'll taper off. It's still good, and then we were talking about how good it'll be if we would go for a title challenge. Now it feels, for me at least, that we are the title contender, and City are the challenges for now. And
Oh,
I'm not saying it with like any arrogance or anything, but just the way this team has been playing, the way the confidence the team has, the way the players conduct themselves. There is no, and we are seeing players coming in. We are seeing Emil Smith Rowe come in. We are seeing Vieira trying to get into the team. We are seeing like when Tierney comes in, he wants to get that place. You can see that hunger in every player. Yet there is this good feeling about the club. There is togetherness. There is like everything that Arteta said the fans would feel. We are feeling it right now.
remember he said once this project goes boom, then like it's going to go to another level. I think that's the thing that's happening right now, and then he knew it. Oh my god, yeah.
So do you feel that way too?
I still I think I was telling like once it's like right now we are getting to 3/4, about like 2/3 to 3/4 of the season that we are right now. If and we have 3 more games before we go into like the international break. March 19 is the last game that we play. If we are able to get all the max points that we can from these games, and like we still have a lead of about 5 points or more, yeah, and at that point I would feel the pressure would be on City. At that point, yes, I would definitely feel the pressure would be on City, because no matter who you play at that point, if you're in cruise control, you get to a level where, and you're not conceding goals, you get to a level where, like you said, it's not arrogance, but it's the confidence that it has a very high level. And it's not just about being able to win all your games or not dropping points. It's also about the resilience to, like, if you lose one in between, which could quite naturally happen, right? Especially for a young team like ours. If you lose one game and the response in the next game would be top notch. That's the level that we are getting into. But if you ask me if City are challengers and we are contenders, I would put both of us in the same bracket right now. I wouldn't like differentiate between one and the other. In fact, I would still give the upper hand to City because of the fact that, you can look at it two ways. They have the experience, they've done it before, so they know what to do. We don't know what to do, but but it's not like we're completely clueless, which we've shown through like what we've done throughout the season. So it would be more of like the hunger versus the experience. And like where we get there at that point, who needs it more is what's going to take. The run into has quite a few games with teams, I believe, which would be fighting for a European spot or like, top 4 spot or like would be fighting relegation. So all of these factors would also play a huge part in it. We've seen like City draw against Forest. We've seen City lose to like another team, Brentford. So anything is possible at this point.
We have 5 minutes to talk about Bournemouth.
I think that's a good amount of time.
I'm going to do this as a quick fire thing. So, starting lineup, especially with Europa League coming, do you see us making any change to the starting lineup?
Yeah, I think Partey will come in for Jorginho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything
else? Like I think given away game against Lisbon first on Thursday, I think like Partey will come in for Jorginho. Jorginho will play the away game. He will at least play 60 minutes there.
Okay.
Apart from that, Jesus is not going to be ready, so he won't come in. Trossard did not put a foot wrong, so the front three will pick itself. The midfield three to Saka had a monster game, so I don't see him getting dropped. So that's again good. The back line too. I don't think there's going to be any changes.
Okay. I don't think either. I'm not even seeing I'm seeing Partey coming back, but I don't see any other changes. But the second question is, Bournemouth has not been great. They are sitting 19th on the table. They just lost 4-1 to City. Before that, I think they won like 1 game in 5 games or something like that. So they have been pretty bad. Till now, I think they have like 5 games that they have won. All that aside, do you see any part of Bournemouth's lineup or like players or any pattern that might be a problem for Arsenal?
I would have been more worried at the beginning of the season. The game that we played at home, I think I was more worried. The one away. I think I was more worried about that game than I am right now because of the levels at which we are playing and the levels at which they are playing. I think just like the way, since it's a home game, we should definitely be able to defeat them. I don't see like a threat. If we could say a threat, maybe like Dominic Solanke and their goalkeeper. But even
goalkeeper is not a threat, Arun. Goalkeeper is the curse.
Yeah, the curse. Exactly, the curse. Yeah. So that's the only point of contention that I see. But even Solanke, I don't think he has enough quality to trouble our defense, or like they do not really have like the kind of players or the ability to sustain pressure to really cause us any damage, especially at home. Okay. So I really don't see like a lot of challenge from their side, I would say. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but that's the level that we are playing at right now,
And so the last question is about the predictions. I don't have anything else written down here, so I'm just saying like predict the game.
I would say I think we are like I have been like wanting a clean sheet for a long time, and we got one last game, but I wasn't really sure if we would get one. But given the way in which we're playing, the confidence, and it's home against the 19th place team, I would be bold and I'd say a 2-0 or 3-0 for Arsenal.
Awesome. Any prediction on who is going to be the scorers?
I want Trossard to get a good goal at home. That would be great. And probably I really want Eddie to come and get a goal in the second half, and maybe like Xhaka to get one.
Okay. It's all good. Anyone who scores for Arsenal is good for me. So I think the last bit that I wanted to talk, or I wanted to like actually get your opinion is, how shit are Tottenham?
Oh my god, it was so amazing. Like players from all the teams that were playing were celebrating except for Tottenham. Like we were celebrating Ramsdale's save right at the end. Liverpool were celebrating, I think, Salah's goal. United were celebrating Garnacho's goal, and Tottenham were the only team that were like, we are out of the FA Cup. Like, oh my god, like I really cannot believe how they managed to fool the entire footballing community for about 6 years that they were actually a team that needs to be taken seriously. Time has passed, like everything has has changed. Even in our worst period, we won more than they have.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. They're scam artists of the highest order. I still cannot believe how the entire football fraternity was convinced that they are going to be like a team that would finish second this season or contend with City for the title, or they're going to be like in the top six for a long time. This is unbelievable. I'm loving this. Seeing Chelsea and Tottenham playing this way is unbelievable. I'm just loving every minute of this.
It's like all the perfect things happening at the same time.
Same time.
Arsenal winning it, and then like
And
Chelsea being in a shit.
Saint Tottenham is almost a certainty at this point. Like I don't see that changing either. So like it's so many years after which this has happened, and I don't think this trend is going to reverse anytime in the near future.
Absolutely. With that happy thought, we would like to have a closure on this episode. Thanks for everyone who's listening, and for you again, like, share, subscribe, and comment in your thoughts. And take a moment of your day, laugh at Tottenham, and that's the best thing that can happen to you. So thanks everyone. Thanks Arun. Talk to you.
Thank you very much.